And among the first to extend a helping hand to the massive reconstruction plan is the World Bank. It commits $500 million for such effort. This report by Freddie Abando.
Ray, the government's reconstruction assistance on Yolanda has sparked a global response of support from the country's development partners to the recovery of areas hit by the strongest typhoon in the region. The World Bank is among the first to pledge an initial commitment of $500 million, a figure that is expected to multiply based on the priorities set forth in the plan.
Ray is trying to provide an operational framework that should guide the reconstruction. It puts the dimensions of the challenge clearly, the cost, the needs, and the areas where interventions are needed. So I felt that particularly after this crisis, it is good to provide the framework, and this will also help the activities by the international community, including the World Bank.
6 regions were affected by the force and fury of Yolanda. Total damages and losses amounted initially to 571.1 billion pesos, the equivalent of 12.1 billion pesos. It covered the infrastructure sectors to include roads, power, bridges, and transport. The economic sector to include agriculture, industry, and services. Social services with special focus on education, health, and housing. And cross sectors to include local government units.
The communities that have been affected, they wish for prompt support, and we should not fail them. I suggested that the World Bank would be willing to be very ambitious in its support, work with the government on how we can, as quick as possible, execute the different programs, and also be as flexible as possible with the execution. That means, looking how we can process different requests quickly, always, of course, while maintaining full transparency and accountability.
The estimated cost of recovery and reconstruction will amount to 360.89 billion pesos or $8.171 billion. Recovery amounts to 60.556 billion pesos. Reconstruction will cost $6.05 billion. It's a monumental task which will require more support from the World Bank to ensure Ray will lead to the recovery of the devastated areas.
This is a huge task, and I think we need to stay ambitious to help these communities. My concern is that once the press turns itself to other events, sometimes the people are left alone, and I think my concern would be that we should not fail the victims.
Despite the tragedy and tears left by Yolanda, the survivors have shown the world that we Filipinos are strong and resilient, traits which has endeared us to our global family in our hour of need.
What it always tells you, and what is always impressive, is that people turn pages and want to move on, and that is a source of strength, and I think is a source of strength to build on. What these people need is support. I'm not so sure that they are asking for a handout. What you're seeing is that they are capable enough to determine what is good and what is needed for them. But they may need some support to get their businesses back on their feet.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.